Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? How are you? How are you? Whether you're here live or you are re-listening or rewatching this, this is our Thought Leader Thursday. This is a time where we come together on Thursday evening, a little bit later today, live. So I do apologize for that, but typically is at 6 p.m. Okay, 6 p.m. PST. So that is some late night value for my East Coast folks. That is at 9 p.m. on the East Coast. So I do apologize, yet unapologetically is a part of our creed. So if you're here live, amazing. If you are re-listening, amazing as well. We've had some awesome conversations. If you go back and listen to our playlist on our Thought Leader Thursdays, my objective for these Thought Leader Thursdays are to develop not only the psychology and the mindset of our thought leaders. And if you don't believe you're a thought leader, I challenge you to think you are and to build the habits and the discipline and the actionable steps to do so. Because our thoughts turn into actions and our behaviors, and it becomes a routine, right? Which is what we're going to talk about today. So, if I could get a one in the chat, if you're re-listening to this, amazing as well. If I could just see a comment from you, I do check my comments. Say, hey Brian, hey Dr. B, I listened to this, it helped, or I would challenge you on this, or I've read that book, or I'm trying to rebuild my habits, or here's what I do. Just let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so if that is you, amazing, 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 amazing. All right. So welcome in, new and old. This used to be our town hall inside of our Discord. So got to pay the bills, meaning I got to mention our leverage Discord platform, which is a community that we have, our Thought Leader Hub. All the links will be down in the description. You can check that out. It's $1 a day. So if you need a community, a cohort to develop your mind, your body, your spirit, your energy, you're more than welcome to tap into our Thought Leader Hub. If you want the skills attached with the mindset, you want to join our university level, which is where we live trade, we talk business, you have recordings, you have trainings, you have private chats if you'd like some mentorship as well. So just check the links down below. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to message myself or email me. I will answer that to give you more clarity. All right. With that being said, let's jump into it today. We always read off our creed. Our creed is what we stand for inside of leverage. So if you want to repeat after me and you want to attach this to your lifestyle, you're more than welcome. So I'm going to pull it here and read it off to you slowly but surely, taking each and every word that you hear and insert it into your life as well. All right. Let's go. 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 All righty. Let's start. I am a powerful thought leader. I choose abundance and joy over fear and uncertainty. Every day, I'm empowered to be 1% better and maximize my zone of genius. My unwavering spirit will shake the world. And finally, and today, I have the power and permission to show up unapologetically me. All right. That is a creed that I developed almost 4 years ago at this point, where I just wrote down these things that I thought would embody what a thought leader should show up each and every day. You believe that you're defined by the title at your job. You believe you're defined by what your family says you are and what you've been through. You're a mom, you're a dad, and all these great things that you think you are. And you may be those things. You're a great husband, you're a great wife, you're a great partner, you're a great son, you're a great daughter, you're a great friend, you're a great employee, you're a great boss, you're a great business owner, all these things. But in reality, each and every day you have experiences currently, presently, past and future experiences to come. And those shape our thoughts, our ideas, our actions, and our behaviors each and every moment, each and every season. The person you were yesterday is not the person you were today. The person you were 2 months ago is not the person you should be today. The person you were 5, 10, 20 years ago should not be the person you are today. And you will not be that person in the future. So that means that every moment, every period of time in your life means something. It's building momentum. It's a momentous moment, right? So in this today's Thought Leader Thursday, I want to chat about, which I got a good question from our community member, Dennis, client of mine inside of our university level, inside of a leverage. He asked, how do you, Brian, how, like, from your perspective, right? Because any question that I answer, I don't claim to know or be the ultimate guru. I don't think anyone is the guru. They've just experienced and they have a formula that works for them, right? And every formula is not for everyone. So I look at life at this point as just sharing different formulas. And you're trying out a formula to see, like, okay, let me sprinkle a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Okay, I like that. Okay, let's remove this and let's develop this recipe for your life and whatever that is. So Dennis asked, he said, how do you overcome, and I kind of like put it in quotes and you may see in the title, like procrastination in a sense, or reverting back to old habits and keeping that momentum. And I was like, man, this is good because some of you may have read The Power of Habit and understand the habit loop, right? A cue, a routine, and a reward is the habit loop. And we'll talk about that just a little bit for those, especially that, haven't heard of it before. Because when I mention some of these things, people are like, oh, I've never heard of that. Or they're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Atomic Habits is another good book by James Clear. Some of you may have read that. And there's various other different, productivity gurus out there that you may have like, okay, try this. Okay, do I do cold plunge? Do I do water on my face? Do I do a sauna? Do I do like all these biohacking techniques to improve your habitual nature? And there's a couple of things that I want to read off here that I was pulling up right before this live. And it was interesting enough when I was typing and I was like, interesting. Some people spend their entire lives waiting for the time to be right to make an improvement. Some people spend their entire lives waiting for the right time to make an improvement. I think that's each and every one of us. It's like, it's today the day. Okay, let me get all these things in order. And then like, I'll do it when this happens. Or if I like fall on my face, then I'll have that aha moment. Oh man, like I've lost enough times in the market. Like maybe I should change something. Oh man, I lost my whole account. Maybe I should finally change something. And then like you do it over again, then you do it over again, then you do it over again. And you're like, yo, this time will be different. This time will be different. And we keep resorting back to these things, wondering like, yo, like what's really going on? So that was interesting. Another interesting piece, an idea. So there was a study done where scientists were analyzing people and they were analyzing this cohort in this group that appear to have this immense amount of self-control, right? You know, those people, they're like, how do you not eat that? Like, let's talk about body dysmorphia or body changing. And a lot of people are trying to get their bodies right. It's the new year, right? And it's like, man, how does that person like not get tempted on sweets? Or like, how do they stick to those macronutrients? And how do they not like binge? Or how do they not be tempted by, sexual temptation? Like, how do they do these things? It turns out those individuals aren't all that different from those who are quote unquote struggling. Instead, disciplined people are better at structuring their lives in a way that does not require heroic willpower and self-control. So what I took away from this study was, and you can look it up, is just talking about like scientists analyzing these people with self-control. Maybe I'll link it down below or you can just Google it. But it was talking about if I structure my life to where there's only good things, energy, and I have a protective moat around me, then of course it's going to seem very easy to do the simple things. So for example, if somebody has a fridge where they tuck the chocolate in the back of the fridge, but they know it's there instead of just removing the chocolate because they know that that's a temptive nature for them. And their fridge is only full of the healthy items, the juices, the water, there's no sodas. I don't care if it's hidden in the back. Like you just don't have the self-control and discipline yet to not do that yet. So you got to remove it. So there's only a structure around your life to be healthy. If someone's in a proximity of the gym where it's literally a walk away, or the dumbbells are sitting right there next to their bed, or they've already got their clothes laid out, or their closet is structured to where the workout clothes are in the front, and they're more tempted to grab those workout clothes from the front of the closet versus the back of the closet, or they're struggling to find the extra sock or whatever, or their shoes aren't ready. Like, a disciplined person or a person with habitual things that go on in their lives, they structure their life and their surroundings for them to be successful, right? I'll give you an example in my business and these even live streams. Okay, my light's right here. Okay, I got to turn my light on. My mic's right here. Okay, cool. I flip the camera on. All right, what's a simple way? Okay, let me turn OBS on and I'm ready to go. So I've essentially structured this live stream or this YouTube setup to where I can be successful and disciplined to turn it on and do it. Right. So what is it for you? Is it the business? Is it the surroundings? Is it you're like, why can't I create content, or why can't I start the business? It's like, maybe you don't have a structured office set up for you even to operate a business because you aren't in a proper, like, if you work for a company, they have an office, they have a cubicle, they gave you a laptop, you have a login credential, like, you have systems in place. You show up, you clock in, or you're on salary, and like, you do the duties. You haven't structured your life enough to even be a business owner because you think it's just a little hobby. So I'll read that again. Instead, disciplined people are better at structuring their lives in a way that does not require this extra willpower to try to do X, Y, and Z. It's like, oh my gosh, that's so hard to do. I was talking with my boy Nico today, and we were talking about, because he's a top-notch fitness coach, and some clients were like, "How do you get 10,000 steps a day and you don't have an Apple Watch?" It's like, I keep my phone in my pocket. Well, I don't carry my phone everywhere I go. Well, I don't know what you want me to do. Either get an Apple Watch, or just count every step you take, or put the phone in your pocket. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, you ask me, how do I get my steps? I tell you the disciplined way to get it. And next thing you know, there's an excuse that comes up. You get what I'm saying? So let me check the chat if anyone's here live, where it is, how do I structure my life in a way that the things that I want, if you want to be a successful investor or trader, okay, maybe I need a mouse. Maybe I need to stop on this small screen laptop. Maybe I need to go and get, a monitor that's bigger than 15 inches so I can actually see everything, so I don't feel so cramped and I'm missing stuff and I feel like I'm tapping around. Okay, let me invest in to, like, actually understanding how to be a decent trader or investor. I don't need a bunch of fancy stuff, but I can get me a couple $100 monitor that's 27 inches or 32 inches, just a little bit bigger. Let me get an actual mouse, right? So, like, these little small things that help you be successful, that develop the habits so you get into a routine that gets you to that reward, right? So I think that is this, it's really the simple things. And I'll read off another one here for everybody. The first mistake is never the one that ruins you. It is a spiral of repeated mistakes that follows. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is a start of a new habit. So, okay, fool me once. Okay, fool me twice. What's the lesson? Okay, fool me 3, 4 times. Okay, now I'm developing this bad habit, right? And I'll get to the economy because I know a lot of you are following me for the economy, and I talk about these things on these Thought Leader Thursdays as well. Yeah, the skate reel, 34-inch curve monitor was best investment. You wrote, some people need to be spending more money to upgrade their life. I agree. I agree. Right. But a lot of folks, in my opinion, and if does that Ben? I'm trying to, like, put two and two together. I'm like, I remember Ben telling me he has a 34-inch curved. Let me know, bro, if that is you. But it's very interesting that we do things to make us feel good, right? So, for example, when I was on Clubhouse and I'd been running my business for about 4 years up to the point of Clubhouse, right? From 2017, and Clubhouse came on the scene around 2020, 2021, roughly, right? In the flesh, I figured, bro. um, and I jumped on Clubhouse and like you would get these questions like, I need to start my business. I'm like, okay. It's not that you can start a business in 3 days. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, you can have your LLC. Well, I thought you had to do this and you had to get this fancy thing. And like, no, like you haven't made any money yet. Just get the LLC, which takes a day or 2 days. Get your EIN number, get it filed, and you can start making money, right? But people were worried about, oh, I need to trust and set this stuff up, and I need to schedule this, and like, what if they? I'm like, you haven't made any money. Start with the thing that will get you in a momentous way to start attracting what you're desiring. You're thinking 10 steps ahead. And there's nothing wrong with trying to do it the right way, but a lot of times we try to perfect, right? Everything in this moment, but yet we haven't even done the small thing to get us there. Same thing with trading. Right? I'll have people ask me, well, what's the best size of trade? And like, what's the amount I should start off with? I'm like, step one, do you have an extra $500 that you can just pull from a savings account or whatever, or maybe it's 5,000 for you, whatever it is, where you're not going to really miss it, but it's an investment into yourself. Step one, open up Robinhood or open up Webull and deposit that money. I need you to open up a brokerage and see that you have $500 to $1,000 or whatever invested. Maybe you haven't bought anything, but it's in the brokerage. That's step one. But yet someone's worried about, well, what do I trade? Like, what is this trade? I'm like, you haven't even deposited money into a brokerage yet. Do that first, and then we can talk about taking your first trade, right? So with this mindset piece about habits and it's the cue, we're talking about like most people are thinking about what's the reward. I want to make $5,000 in the market. I want to make 3,000. I want to make X amount of money in my business. I want to leave my job. Like that's the reward. I want to take this vacation. Like what's the cue? The cue is doing the first thing. Right? The first thing is typically the simplest and easiest thing, but we dismiss those things a lot of times because, well, that's not what I'm. Well, Brian, what should I do? Join Leverage University. Well, what is that all? Join Leverage University, and I will see how real you are about it. It's $150 a month. Some of y'all are paying that in Netflix subscriptions. Cancel all of your subscriptions and join Leverage University, and you will see. Well, what is okay? I don't have anything. I don't know what. That's the simplest thing I can tell you to do. Watch the YouTube video. Did you watch the YouTube video? No, I didn't. It was 30 minutes. You didn't have 30 minutes? You see what I'm saying? So it's not with me. I do these things too. I'll tell myself that's like, damn, Brian, you didn't do the simple thing, man. You didn't even wake up on time. Right? Like, I know people are busy. I know, but you make time for what you care about. So like a lot of times we as grown folks, we give ourselves a pass, right? But now it's time to get really real, like with your friends, your cohorts, my clients. Like you didn't even do the simple thing. Did you study last night the markets? Did you study what you did wrong? Did you chart that night for an hour extra? Did you look at your losing trade and see what you did wrong? Well, no. Did you chart this morning and make a plan, or did you just show up? Right? That will get people like clicked. Like, damn, I didn't even do this simple thing. Right? And I have to remind myself that as well. I'll read a couple more, and these are just thoughts that I'm getting from habitual stances. Like, how do you develop better habits? Um, People get so caught up in the fact that they have limits that they rarely exert the effort required to get close to them. People get so caught up in the fact that they have limits that they rarely exert the effort required to even get close to what they desire. So half the time we're focused on what obstacle I need to overcome instead of the simple thing that I can do today. Man, I don't have the monitor yet. I don't have, I don't have the $500 yet, but I got 300, right? I don't have, the $1,000 that most people tell me I need to invest. So like, I can't start yet. Oh, like I don't have the startup money, or I don't have the business credit yet to start the business. So like, I shouldn't set up the LLC yet. Right. Like I hear these things all the time, and I'm not perfect, but I've heard them so much that I try to say like to myself, Brian, like, do you allow yourself to get caught up in so many of the limits? Oh, I can't move there because, I've heard this and I've heard that. Well, do you know? Oh, that costs too much to move. That's the man. I could never. Have you calculated how much it costs to move? Have you calculated that it could be a cheaper cost of living for you? Oh man, I heard renting is more expensive than buying. I'll never rent. Have you calculated the fact that after property taxes and and fixing things that it could possibly be the same? So it's like all these limits and limiting beliefs that we've had from our past experiences or who's told us X, Y, and Z. So we kind of go that way or don't go one way or the other. Right. Invest until it hurts a bit. A lot of people invest with their leftovers. Why? Um, I think you know why, Ben. I think you know why. But I'll repeat it for the congregation in the back. I've done it as well. None of us are promised tomorrow. So neurologically, right? We have a left, right brain, we have a frontal lobe, we have different pieces of our brain. A portion of our brain will tell us, man, what if that thing never comes, but I have what I have right now? So we have like a natural inkling to think forward, but it actually takes a lot of discipline and willpower to like remain in the present to think that what I'm doing now is going to make a difference in the future. Right? Think back to a lot of us like back in our 20s, or maybe some of you, maybe it was in your 30s, like just think a decade ago. And a lot of us, like, we think like, man, if I would have only bought Bitcoin at $100 when I saw it at $500 and $100. I remember having my phone up in pharmacy school in 2015. Oh man, what the heck? I guess there's fireworks. Man, okay, cool. We got effects here. I remember like having my phone up in 20 I was in pharmacy school in 20 like 12 2013. I remember having my phone up and looking at Bitcoin less than $500. And we think about, well, that's a long, man, tomorrow's not promised. Like that's a long time away. Like I'll get to that. I'll get to it. So it takes like extreme habitual like discipline to think like what I'm doing January 23rd, 2025 will make a difference in 2030, because we don't know what's going to happen in 2030. We only know historically that, okay, the S&P will go up 10 to 12%. Some years will be 20%. It may get a little bit more. Maybe we have a bear year in 2026 or whenever, and then we get another opportunity. And then next thing you know, another Bitcoin halving will come up in 2030, right? Or 2028. The first budget line should be your brokerage account or 401k, 20%. Yep, I said it. Yeah. Yeah. And Ben's an accountant, so he can say that. Right. So it is interesting. And I think Ben, where you have a really good perspective is because of your profession and seeing that firsthand. And when you put it on paper, it becomes real. Like, okay, that extra $15, $20 meal, it does make a difference, right? Like that extra 20, $20 subscription that you don't need, that you forgot about multiple months, that added up to $90. Like there was your $90 to put into the S&P. And we've seen $90 go to 1,000 before, right? So it's getting very like minute, right, in your tracking and what you're doing each and every day with not only your little habits, like your small habits, like yeah, like where it changed for me, and I'll slowly wrap this up, and bring it into a loop close. Where it changed for me when I saw the biggest results from like my habits was when I changed my body. In 2012, when I entered pharmacy school in St. Louis, coming from Atlanta in undergrad, I it's kind of like you graduate, like for example, like sports. A person retires from like the NFL and it's like, what do I do now? That's kind of how I felt because I was playing golf um, in college on scholarship every day. I graduated undergrad and now I'm like, okay, I'm in professional school. What needs to be my like hobby? Because it's cold up here in St. Louis and I don't have the money or the time to really, play golf like that anymore. So I committed myself to be like, okay, I'm going to change my body. I didn't think about a bodybuilding show. I was just like, I literally Googled how to what like how to count macronutrients or the best meal plans, and I just binge watch YouTube videos every day. And I found a couple of YouTubers that like were doing a prep to cut, and I just followed. Next thing you know, like I'm counting macros. I didn't even know what macronutrients were, and I was in pharmacy school, and I was like, "This is amazing." So you're telling me like the amount of protein, the amount of carbs, the amount of fats, if you manipulate those, you can manipulate how your body looks. That's when it clicked for me that the smallest minuscule things will make a difference to the macro like vision that you have. Same thing what goes with finances. It's like if you're not tracking in a spreadsheet or using Rocket Money. Personally, I use a spreadsheet and I have Rocket Money as well, where I can just click sync and it refreshes. And I'm like, oh, there's, how much I've spent on Top Step for my combines or how much I've spent on subscription this month or whatever it might be. And I just subtract and like cancel that, add that back in. And there's your extra money, right? Ain't gonna become wealthy investing your leftovers. Exactly. So it's like investing yourself, your body, your mind, um, into groups, into conversations, into rooms, into knowledge, whatever it is, time and money. And then it's like, okay, what's left over for me to like do something fun? That's the mentality I'm on now. It's like, what's left over for me to like, if I budget it out, okay, I need a date night. Okay. That's because that's important, right? Okay, cool. I want to go have a cup of coffee on the weekends with a friend and have good conversation. Okay, that coffee and whatever on a Saturday, because I get free coffee during the week. And then on a Saturday, I go out and grab coffee. Okay, that's $5, $6. That's important because I have good conversation around the coffee, right? So that's when I budget in those things, is that's the leftovers for me, right? I have a mentality now, which I saw, which it sounds kind of abrasive, but I'll say this. I saw something recently and it was talking about like people needing vacations. Man, I need a vacation. And I hate to be, no, actually, our creed says be unapologetically you. So I'm going to be very straightforward. A lot of folks, y'all don't need no vacations. You don't need a vacation. From what? You're unhappy with your job. You don't like how your business is going. You don't like how your relationships are going. And people are like, I need a break. I just need the beach. No, you don't need the beach because you escape with the vacation. It's not a reward for you. For most. For some, it's like I've worked all year. I've accomplished this. Now, okay, I deserve this vacation. I deserve a getaway. But guess what? It's not going to happen for everybody. And that's my vision. And it doesn't pertain to everybody. Some people, they're just so up in angst that actually they're like, well, Brian, like a vacation with my family and whatnot, it actually rejuvenates me. I'm like, okay, well, what changes after you get back? And you know why I talk this way is because this is Thought Leader Thursday. This isn't for everybody that's listening to hear. This is not for the average person. This is for a person that wants to grow and do something different in life and feel like, man, my life feels fulfilling and I'm changing and I'm growing and I'm maneuvering. I'm I feel like I'm a different person. This is for that person. This isn't for someone's like, man, that don't make any sense. Like, everyone needs a little vacation, a little getaway. For what? You can't sit through your pain of figuring out what you need to do to get out of your situation. You can't sit there and try to figure it out. Like sit back in your chair and take a vacation if you need to. Sit next to the window, go out and take a walk. But like spending, like you said, Ben, spending like the money that you were going to invest into the mentor or you were going to invest into the group or you said you were going to invest in the stock market. It's like, oh, I spent $2,000 on a vacation. I don't care if it was on points and miles. You still had to spend the money to get the points. That's or you're leveraging that to do something with it. You create content on vacation. You're getting some your thoughts. It's intentional, or it's a reward. Like that's the mindset I'm in now because I think these next 4 years are going to be pivotal for folks to be like, do I want it? Do I want to change? And I go through little growing pains for this year, or this is the year that I excel, or this is the year I have to sacrifice a little bit. And like Ben said, or whatever, like not whatever, Ben, but like you said, okay, every 10%, like I tithe, or the first 10% goes into the market, or man, I don't have enough to like go out to eat and my friends are inviting me. Okay, cool. That's fine. You invested first and then there was no leftovers. Cool. That outing will be there later. Tell them, hey guys, can't do it this weekend. I feel like once you get into your 30s and 40s and even after, like more folks respect that now than ever. Like folks are inside, right? If someone invites you out, it's like, hey, remember back in like back in college and like your maybe early 20s when we were outside and doing X, Y, and Z and whatever, like you felt almost guilty for saying no or hey, can't make it this time. Like I think it's more of a respect now than ever to choose yourself, right? And choose what's best for you and what your objectives are. Then getting into the status quo of what society says you should do in the summer. Oh, it's summertime. You should be outside the parties. You should be enjoying, the vacation. It's like, okay, well, what did you do during the wintertime to earn that? Oh, it's cold right now. I should be going on a little summer, like a little, Bali getaway or a little, Mexico getaway because it's warm down there. Maybe I should go down to Miami. Maybe I should go over here to Scottsdale and maybe I should venture out to the West Coast because it's warm. Well, what did you do to earn that? Right? The small things, the habits will lead into a routine, right? That will become the reward that you desire. All right. Let's read off the pivot year and the Daily Stoic, and I'll get up out of here for everybody. And I'll give a little sentiment on the economy as well. January 23rd. The truth about money is the title. This is coming from the Daily Stoic. Okay. The author, F. Scott Fitzgerald, who often glamorized the lifestyle of the rich and famous in the book The Great Gatsby, opens one of his short stories with the now classic lines, "Let me tell you about the very rich. They are different from you and me." A few years after this story was published, his friend Ernest Hemingway teased Fitzgerald by writing, "Yes, they have more money." That's what Seneca is reminding us. As someone who was one of the richest men in Rome, if you've not read about Seneca, go read about Seneca. He knew firsthand that money only marginally changes life. It doesn't solve the problems that people without seems to think it will. In fact, no material possession will ever change your entire life. External things can't fix internal issues. We constantly forget this in summary, and it causes us so much confusion and pain, as Hemingway would later write off with Fitzgerald. He thought the rich were a special, glamorous race, and when he found that they weren't, it wrecked him as much as any other thing that wrecked him. Without a change, the same will be true for us. Med, I've read many books, and I've read many Bible verses, and obviously various different thought leaders and their perspectives and opinions, which is what I believe they are, about money and where money should go and what people should do with their money. It's your own prerogative. I think that no one knows what people should do with their money and what people should do with their hard earned dollar. But you can't say these things if you haven't earned anything. Let's be real. Oh, money's not that big of a deal. Oh, it's not everything. It's like, well, have you owned a luxury car and regretted it? Have you had this amount of money in your bank account and then you spend it on the wrong things and you wish you would have had it back? Have you had these luxury vacations and you're like, man, I've got enough to do X, Y, and Z, and then you regretted it? And like, have you even been on the other side yet? Right? I've been on both sides. So I can have a perspective about, yeah, it doesn't. You make it, you lose it, you get it back, you get it back. It's a flow. It's energy. And all the while, it's like, who is the human being that's stewarding that in the right way? Do they have good intentions? Right? Even if you have good intentions, you can be like, man, I didn't know at that point. Right? There's someone that's listening right now. It's like, man, I remember having an extra 10, 20, 30 grand, 100 grand. Man, I should have just dumped it all into crypto. You may have not have known. That was a season. So maybe you had the right intentions, but you just didn't have the knowledge to do the right thing with it at that time. Man, like, God, I wish I would have hope, regret, whatever it is. Can't go back in time and change it. So, like, who is the person right now that is ready for their blessing in this next season? Developing the heart center, developing the knowledge. It's like, okay, when this happens again, or when this dollar comes in, I'm going to deploy it this way. Because if I don't know how to deploy this dollar, or if I don't know how to deploy $10, if I don't know how to deploy $100, then I don't know how to deploy the 10,000, the 100,000 when it comes. That's what I took away from this piece, is that, yeah, money will solve and alleviate a lot of things. You need a massage every day and you got an extra massage money to have it, a new a masseuse come to you personally every single week. Yeah, that will make a difference. You're tired of thinking about what to eat every night, but yet you got extra money for a chef to cook you some food so you don't have to think about that. Yeah, it does make a difference. So it's like the stewardess of money, or the energy of money, allows you to bring back your time. But a lot of folks have time right now, right? We have extra hour, we have an extra 2 hours, but yet, oh, I need a vacation, or, oh, I got to go to sleep. It's like, yeah, you do need your sleep. I get that. But if you're not happy with your job anyways, waking up in the morning, what do you need extra sleep for? You're falling asleep on the job anyways. Oh, I need my full 8 hours so I can wake up to a job I hate anyways. Well, you might as well wake up with 5 hours. That's how I viewed my previous job. I was like, shoot, I might as well spend an extra 3 on what I'm trying to figure out to do in the evening times, or wake up an extra 2 or 3 hours in the morning, because I'm tired anyways at my job because it's draining me. So an extra fluffy 8 hours to do something and to build someone else's dream ain't gonna matter anyways. I'm just speaking facts. So the gurus out here that tell you, I need a full 8 hours so you can go to a place that you hate anyways. Well, shoot, I might as well go exhausted and give him half my energy because I'm getting paid the same amount anyways, whether I do the abundant amount of work or I do half the work. Some of y'all know where I'm coming from, right? Some people spend their monthly pay living a lifestyle, building lifestyles for the rest of their life. Yeah, yeah. So the Thought Leader Thursdays, if this is your first time here, or you're rewatching it. I just want to speak power into myself first and just allow it to resonate from God and the universe out into this platform. And that's all the energy that's coming from me is because I need a space and a place where I can just be open and honest instead of on the reels and you're saying motivational quotes and it's so short that it's like, oh, that felt good for a moment. And then you're right back to doing what you were doing. Oh, yeah, I should join that community, or oh yeah, I should invest that amount of money, but then the $100 comes into your hand or your pocket, or you get it paid an extra $100, or you got an extra $100 over here, and next thing you know, the $100 is gone because you went out to eat for 2 meals. Because the cue wasn't there that once the $100 comes in, I'm just supposed to deploy it this way immediately. Or like, oh man, I got an extra hour. What am I going to do with that extra hour? So when you get the extra hour, your cue goes, oh, I need to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, I need to go watch the YouTube video to learn X, Y, and Z. Or I need to go study really quick. Right? So let's use our time, energy, money as best as possible. We're imperfectly perfect. Right? I speak power into myself like this every day because I need to pick me up. I need to fire myself up in a healthy, honest, and direct way. And this message may not be for everybody. The way my delivery is may not be for everybody. You may need a little cushy, you know, I need to, feel good and meditate and do all this stuff. I understand that, right? I'm very much a believer in making sure your mind and your heart and your body are right. But a lot of us grew up in very, very uncomfortable situations and we had to make it happen regardless. And I think we've gotten away from those roots that I've got to make it happen by any means necessary. If I lose a little sleep, if I lose a little bit of money, then I got to make it back. If I got to sacrifice a little bit over here, if I got to go through a little bit of growing pains, I got to do it because I'm not getting any younger. My time's not getting any, I'm not getting any more time. And obviously my job not paying me any more money. Inflation's not slowing down. The rich are getting richer. The markets are getting more expensive. The housing market's getting more expensive the longer I wait. So what are you waiting on? It's like speed needs to be implemented. It's like you have no more time to wait. I don't care what someone can challenge me that on all day. Well, Brian, it's this season. I'm like, I don't care what season it is. I'm like, you really don't have an extra week or an extra month, or I'll wait till next quarter. Like, you really don't have that time. You need to be doing the smallest things you can right now to speed up the process. Exactly. Exactly, Ben. There needs to be a sense of urgency. And even if it's in your mind, right? Just say someone really doesn't have the money right now. Okay, every day you need to be thinking about how can I generate an extra dollar today? An extra dollar? There's your $30 for the month, right? How do I earn an extra $5 today? 5 times 30. That's an extra $150 a month. So just focus on, if I were talking to like a younger version of myself, or like, sometimes I get questions from like teenagers and young 20s, like, yo, I really want to join the community, or like, how do I get an extra $150? I'm like, go find a way to get $5 today and do that every day this month. It's a mathematics game. Not thinking about what's the big reward that seems so massive, right? Very similar, Ben. If someone, like, for example, like all 2024, we talk about it all the time, right? Just QQQ was up 28% roughly. right? Man, where am I going to get an extra 30% on my money? Man, I need my job to give me a raise. Okay, well, January 1, you know the S&P and QQQ and the markets are going to at least return you 10 to 20% on the year. Regardless of like 4 years, just put an automatic recurring investment on, and there's your extra bonus from your job. Don't go begging to your boss you need an extra bonus. I remember we said QQQ was overpriced in January. Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Now it's 30% higher. Exactly. Next thing you know, we'll look up QQQ's at 600. It's at 530 now. It'll be at 600. So if it pulls back, it'll be at 600 very soon. And then it will be 1,000 in 2030. What are we talking about? You know? So, yeah. Anyways, quick things, economy wise, just to bring you up to speed for anybody. Trump announced that, signed a bunch of executive orders. And yesterday we had an executive order on, let me see if I can, stock market is expensive as real estate. Yeah, it is pretty much. You might as well just choose one or the other. And one, in my opinion, is like less hassle. Bro, I'm telling you, man, just rewind the clock. I was talking to Nico. We were taking a walk, and I was just like, bro, like rewind the clock back to 2019. Like even rewind the clock back to 2022. I'm just like, I had so much Solana. It was ridiculous. Like I had so much Solana at an average cost of like $20, bro. I had at least 100 Solana at $20. And Solana's at almost 300. Just rewind the clock back. That's why I want, like, I'm just begging and pleading from the market guides to bring some type of black swan event. Please, God, um, bring us without hurting everybody. Do not put anyone in harm's way, danger, health conditions, but somehow, some way, bring this market back. Like, exactly. So Trump, he signed an executive order talking about exactly what he was last year, which was speculative, but the cryptocurrency and digital currency, bringing that of less regulation. So that is, in my opinion, we could have a bullish run tomorrow with crypto and obviously a lot of the crypto related stocks. So please take a look at Tesla tomorrow, as well as obviously a lot of the altcoins. Bitcoin might run overnight into the morning. So that was another executive order. So I want to pay attention to a lot of the cryptocurrency coins and stocks tomorrow. Tesla typically runs on Friday. It's been running for the last Friday. So pay attention to Tesla at around 400 to 415. It could run back into the 420s. So that could be a play tomorrow. It would be a 0 DTE. So trade with caution. American Express also has earnings tomorrow morning. So watch that. The futures market is running to all-time highs. So some things to pay attention to on NQ. As long as we're above 22,000 and 22,100, we can run to those next psychological levels. Okay. So 22,200, 22,300, back to highs, as long as the ES on futures is above 6,100. Okay. 6,100. And then now it's at 6,150. We could run into that potentially 6,200 mark, which would be around 610, 612 on SPY. Okay. So as long as SPY is above 608, okay, it needs to remain above 608. Even pulling back to 607 is okay, but it needs to kind of retain above that 608 and then push up above 610. If we get that, we could have another bullish Friday that just kind of trends into next week's earnings with Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, so on and so forth. Okay. So pay attention tomorrow that we still hold those solid levels when we wake up in the morning, that we could have a trending day on Friday that could finish off the week even more bullish. Okay. So watch those levels on SPY. On QQQ, watch 531.50. 531.50 on your charts. That is 22,000 on ES. So 531.50 and 532 on QQQ. IWM, watch two, I keep calling out fives. I wish IWM could be in 500s in the next 4 or 5 years. Um, IWM, watch 230 for it to get above that 230 mark. And then a pullback as long as it retains above that 228. And then 227 is that really solid support on IWM. So watch it to get above 230. Okay, it needs to get solidly above 230 because it's kind of getting a little bit stuck at that 229. And then watch for a pullback into 228. Okay, so we could go either way tomorrow. There could be some profit taking for tomorrow, so be mindful of that. But as we pull back, every dip is getting bought up. So watch and see if that pullback comes in the morning, and then we can ride it higher to finish off the week, or if we just continue higher and then it just trends. Okay, so obviously, personally, I think any pullback is just going to be a buy opportunity right now until we get some failures below levels. Okay, we've seen it before. So still protect your levels, still protect those stop losses as well, because we've seen it before at all-time highs where last time we were at 607, it failed all the way back down underneath 600. So who knows? But I don't think any big move or the market's not going to give up those levels until those earnings come in next week. So next week we have Powell speaking. It's going to be very indicative of what he says because remember last Powell meeting, Ben, and for anybody that's rewatching this, Powell was talking about that inflation data is right where it needs to be, and there may not be as many rate cuts this year. So is he going to change his sentiment again, or is he going to stay with that? Because if he stays with, hey, we might not have as many rate cuts, or the next rate cut is going to be into June, then the market could pull back heavy from that news. Okay, because people are looking for more rate cuts. All right, so if he says anything about rate cuts being a little bit iffy and whatever, hey, we could pull back. So it's going to be very indicative on that, and then the earnings. So want to trade the trend for right now. It's up, it's up, it's up, but I want to pay attention to where we're going with Powell. So if we can get one more spike up, that'd be great. And then we'll see where we go from there. All right. Can I get a 1 in the chat? This was good. Everybody good? If you're rewatching this, let me know that you rewatched it and where you're tuning in from so I can say, hey, thank y'all so much as always. I'm checking the chat really quick. We're good. I know it's late. Good. Going once, going twice. Going good. Once, twice. It's late where you are. 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. Wow. Late night value. Cool. Thank y'all so much. Peace, love, and blessings to you. Until next time, I will talk to you in the next Thought Leader Thursday. Make sure you tune in for our stock sermon Sundays. If you're rewatching this, make sure you check in with our Leverage University if you're not inside, or our Thought Leader Hub inside of our Discord. Peace, love, and blessings. Talk to y'all later.